You don't need another program, another tracker, another perfect Monday. You already know what to do and what will move your health forward. What keeps throwing you off is that you keep crossing the same line and then acting surprised when the result is the same. Ooh, boy, probably hit a sore spot there, right? It might be late night eating, skipped workouts. Those turn into skipped weeks, right? Saying yes to everything and leaving no energy for yourself. That line you keep crossing, it's costing you more than the lack of a new plan ever will, okay? So a lot of people keep searching for a better strategy when the real issue is weaker standards. A plan tells you what to do. A line tells you what you'll no longer allow. Have you ever considered that? Because that difference is huge. Plans, they can be forgotten. They can be dismissed. They can be delayed. They can be swapped out. A line that you stop crossing, that just becomes how you live. That's where things start to shift for you, where you stop asking, what new system do I need this week? Should I try this? Should I try this? Do I need to start that? And you switch that out and you start asking, what keeps breaking my trust with myself? That's getting radically honest with yourself. We're going to talk about that today. And if you want help identifying what that line is for you that keeps taking you off course and you really want to build a bigger, stronger standard around it, head over to talktoperry.com. I'll drop that down in the lower third there. Easy to remember, though, talktoperry.com. We can look at what keeps repeating in your life and create a plan that fits the real season that you're in, your real schedule, your real life, and without all the extra noise. That's over at talktoperry.com. Let's talk about this line. You know how you talked about a line in the sand? Well, it's a line that you keep crossing. And it's very personal to each person. It's not a random thing. It just comes from honest awareness, radical honest awareness. Maybe your line is eating through stress every night right after dinner. Maybe it's staying up too late and it's draining your morning energy. Maybe it's hitting the snooze button several times and then going about your day in a scramble. Maybe it's just letting one missed workout turn into a full collapse. Maybe it's just taking yourself talking to yourself in a way that makes healthy action just feel pointless, those sort of things. And the reason here, it's very simple. The repeated lines become the repeated results. And a lot of times we're looking for things outside of us to help us along, to hopefully motivate us, to hopefully be out of the way so we can, get to the end zone and cross the finish line without any distractions. But the distractions are going to be there. It's just that you're giving your power away to them. So do this. Look at your last few weeks, especially the rough ones, and ask yourself, what keeps happening right before the slide? Now, that's usually where the line is. Once you see that clearly, you stop making the mistake of treating the whole week like a big problem. Often, it's not the week that's the problem. It's that repeated moment that's the problem. I have friends that they'll know, oh gosh, I'm bound to sabotage myself on Friday and hope to get back to it on Monday. And by the way, I just did an entire podcast episode in the audio version, so check your podcast app, about stop waiting for Monday as a restart sort of thing. Back to this one. Standards bring clarity to those moments. It sounds like this. The kitchen closes after dinner. One missed workout doesn't mean I canceled the week. I don't scroll away my bedtime. Those sort of things. I don't stress eat. Or even I don't use stress as permission to abandon my goals. That line, it sounds simple. Yet here's the deal. They change behavior because they remove your daily debate. Because you set yourself a standard. And that's where some people get uncomfortable. They think a standard is really strict, but it's only strict if you were always negotiating with yourself all day. And a strong standard often creates more peace, not less. It saves you energy. It lowers decision fatigue. It protects your future from the mood of the moment. And that's why having a line matters more than finding a new plan. A better plan, it still fails if your old patterns keep getting access to the wheel. This was the big deal for me because I found myself almost day after day. I knew I wanted to work out, and I'm trying this new plan, and I decided to work out at home, and I'm just going to follow a trainer on the TV, instead of trying to figure out and do it my own way. So I'm going to trust the process, right? And I found myself day after day. I had an hour commute home, commute both ways, but on the way home, I was already trying to negotiate why I didn't want to work out today. I had a huge to-do list. I had things to do for the dog rescue. I had stuff for a side business. And so I was telling myself, you know what, maybe I'll make up for it tomorrow. Or maybe I'll do it on the weekend. So I always found myself negotiating. And if I wasn't doing that, I was going, well, it's cardio day. I don't like cardio. Oh, well, it's leg day. I don't want to do legs. And so I would try to negotiate. And I'm like, there it is. Why are you trying to negotiate those things? So I created a standard for myself. My standard was that I got home, and instead of sitting down and waiting to work out, I got home, took care of the pets, got my workout clothes on, got my workout started. And then I added one extra non-negotiable element to it. It did not right away, but eventually I did. It was on those days that I was unmotivated, not into it, had a huge to-do list, had the sniffles, had a headache, whatever excuse I wanted to create or that it was going on that sounded legit. I said, I must commit at least 15 minutes of that workout. Because my issue wasn't the workout. My issue was starting and taking action on the workout. So I created a no matter what contract with myself. That's the standard I set. That's the line that I was willing to not cross anymore. I was not willing to negotiate. And this works because of identity. It's when you stop crossing the line, you're not only changing behavior, you're changing the kind of person you believe you are. I started embracing, I'm a person who shows up and starts my exercise. I know it sounds silly, right? But I could have easily just said, I'm a person who always sabotages. I'm a person who always starts something and never finishes. I didn't want to live that story anymore. So someone who used to cave in every night may start to see themselves as the person who protects their energy. Someone who used to disappear after one day of a missed workout starts to see themselves as a person who resets and gets back to it quickly. That shift matters because identity, it holds the standard even in those times when motivation is low. A line needs to, it needs support. It needs to, that decision ahead of time of what you will do when you have the urge to get sidetracked or when a moment comes up. So if it's late night snacking for you, maybe your support is, I have herbal tea. I have a closed kitchen. I go to bed or I do something else. I go and read a book. You come up with something. For me, I did an entire kitchen makeover where I spent a weekend, went through all the cupboards, went through all the fridge, and in it did ingredient reading and got rid of all the stuff that would work against me. Boy, that was painful because my old thinking was, oh, you paid good money for that. Oh, company might come over and want that box of brownies. No, that was all temptation stuff, and it wasn't helping me toward my goal. So that I ditched the garbage food. If your line is skipping workouts after a long day of work, you told yourself it was a long day of work, maybe your support is changing your clothes before you sit down, just like I did with my little 15-minute rule. I got home, took care of the dogs, workout clothes on, workouts get started. You're not only drawing the line, you're helping yourself keep it when you do those things. So your next level may not need more information. It just may need an honest line that you stop crossing. That one decision, it can change your evenings, your energy, confidence, and your follow-through, and most likely your results. Better health, it often gets built when you stop letting the old pattern and keep getting one. It's when you stop letting that same old pattern keep getting one more chance. You've got this, my friend. I'd love to hear your top takeaway from today. You can drop those down in the comments. I absolutely appreciate you, my friend. And as always, remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week. That's another Power Blast podcast in the books. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember, when you are ready to recharge your battery, make sure you go to talktoperry.com. That's talktoperry.com. That's Perry. And I want to listen. I want to hear, what's going on. I want to help you in that 15-minute call to recharge your battery and reclaim your power so that you're off and running and creating massive momentum toward your dream. Also, every day, I am delivering more motivation, support, tips, and strategies inside my free community with amazing people like yourself. And we are conquering the mindset and the fitness. I do 52 weeks of free training in there. Plus, I coach and I mentor people, as well as give you access to tons of resources and guides. It's called my Upside Down Fitness community because we work on a lot of mindset stuff, the inside stuff. And we're a fun group of people striving to make healthier habits in this awesome chapter of life. So make sure you get in there. I promise you'll absolutely love it. Just head over to upsidedownfit.com and you can get into the group. And hey, you would be an awesome friend if you get over to iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave an honest rating and review for the Power Blast podcast. It helps awesome people like you find this show even faster, and that's who I'm looking for, awesome people like you. That's all I have for this week, my friend, and just to let you know, you absolutely rock. That's all I have for this week. I'll see you on the next Power Blast podcast, and always remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.